If you're working as a health, fitness, or a wellness professional, one of the biggest improvements you can help a client make is to improve any digestive malfunctions when they're not breaking down and digesting their food correctly. Not only are they not getting the nutrients out of that food, and then nutrient deficiencies can lead to a wide variety of health issues, but they're also giving the body a burden, because when that food isn't broken down, not only can the body not utilize it, the body's got to figure out, well, what do I do with this now? So in this video, I'm going to help you understand 20 signs that your clients are not digesting your food correctly, so you know when it's time to really help a client improve these digestive malfunctions. When we eat food, our stomach's supposed to make hydrochloric acid, or HCl, to help us acidify that food so that we can break it down. But it's really common for people today not to be making enough stomach acid for a wide variety of reasons. So you're going to see a lot of clients that are dealing with low stomach acid issues and won't even know it. And then once that food is acidified correctly and it leaves the stomach, then the gallbladder is supposed to squirt this alkaline bile down that helps us emulsify dietary fats so that we can access fat-soluble vitamins like A, E, D, and K, and that bile along with the bicarb from the pancreas helps us neutralize the acids that are leaving the stomach so that we can really break that food apart. Another problem is it's very common for clients to have bile become too thick and sticky to flow correctly, and then it's not going to flow down and help us digest our food. So if either of these sides of digestion are going wrong, there's going to be digestive malfunctions, and then the person's really not going to digest their food correctly. So let's jump into these 20 signs that you can look out for.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
Now, most of the signs and symptoms that we're going to talk about do have other possible underlying causes, but the digestive malfunctions are just a common underlying cause for all of these issues. But for everything that we talk about, in the description below this video, I'll just list out all 20 of these signs, and we'll put links to other videos or podcasts where we dig into each topic in a lot more depth if you want to get a little bit more information about anything that we cover here. So the first sign, let's just get over the obvious stuff, and that's any digestive symptom. That could be like burping or bloating or acid reflux or nausea or constipation or diarrhea or indigestion. It's right there in the name, indigestion, a lack of digestion. Or maybe the food just sits there in their stomach like a rock for 6 hours. All of these are signs that they're not digesting correctly. So we want to watch out for these signs, and when we see them, we know that some kind of digestive malfunction is going on. The second sign can be skin or acne issues. Now, there can be other causes for these, but in a lot of cases, when the body can't deal with some type of burden, it'll try to push some of those burdens out through the pores in the skin. And then they can block up the pores and create these skin or acne type issues. A lot of times this has to do with bile not flowing correctly. When you can't emulsify or break down the dietary fats, then the body's going to want to try to get some of those out of the system, and that can create a lot of trouble there. Sign number 3 is low blood pressure. So if your client looks at their blood pressure and their systolic number, or that top number, is below 112, that's a really strong sign that they're not bringing in enough minerals and nutrients into the system, and that blood pressure is going low. But the interesting thing is that sign number 4 can be high blood pressure. If someone can't really break down their food and all of this gook is just thickening up the blood and the body can't get rid of all the junk that it can, and the body can't detox correctly because bile is not flowing and can't help take those toxins out of the body, then that can thicken up that blood and raise the pressure needed to push that through the system. So we just need to understand that digestive malfunctions can cause blood pressure to go too low or too high for different reasons. Sign number 5 is seeing undigested food in the stool. If your client's seeing food in their stool, hello, that's obviously not being broken down correctly. We really want to correct that. Sign number 6 can be cravings. If your clients are really having significant cravings, especially carb or like sugar type cravings, that's a sign that they're not really breaking down the food and getting all the nutrients out of the food. So the body's screaming for something that's easier to break down. Hey, those vanilla wafers are easy to break down. Give me more of those. And they'll have these crazy cravings. Now, the next sign can be mental or emotional issues. Now, there's lots of other causes for these issues, obviously, but if someone's not bringing enough minerals and nutrients in, the body needs those minerals so that signals can travel from the body to the brain and from the brain back to the body. So if they're not breaking down their food well enough to get all the minerals out of that food, and there's a low level of minerals in this system, then they can experience these mental and emotional issues. Sign number 8 can be osteoporosis or osteopenia type issues, because when the body's not getting the nutrients it needs because you're not breaking down the food well enough to get the nutrients out of that food, the body's still going to get those nutrients somewhere, and a lot of times it will break down our own tissues or even mine bones to access the minerals and nutrients it needs to function correctly. So when we can correct digestion, a lot of times the body can start rebuilding things the way that it's supposed to. Next up is leg cramps or Charlie horse type issues. If there's not enough minerals at that tissue level, the muscles can have a hard time relaxing, and then they'll cramp up too much and will feel like somebody stuck a car battery on your leg. So when we can get enough minerals into the system, then they'll go to the right place, and now we won't have those cramps. Chronic fatigue can be another issue. If we're not getting all the resources we need out of the food, then why would we have the energy to really feel energized throughout the day? This is one of the biggest causes for chronic fatigue type issues, is just an inability to break down our food correctly, and sometimes that can cause a person to eat more carbs and sugars. That can also create other troubles with chronic fatigue, but fixing digestion can be a big part of correcting that. Let's also look at menstrual cramps. That can be the next one, because kind of like we talked about with leg cramps, when someone doesn't have enough minerals in the right place, now we're going to get a lot more of those menstrual cramps. But if someone can bring more minerals in from the food that they're eating by breaking it down better, then they can see big time improvement to those uncomfortable periods. Number 12 is vertigo or dizzy spells. One of the possible underlying causes for these issues is, again, a lack of minerals. Signals can't travel correctly, and a person can experience these vertigo type issues. The next two are early menopause and irregular periods. It takes a lot of resources to build a whole human, so when there's not enough resources to do that, Mother Nature will kind of shut down that reproductive system just to kind of protect the mother. Just so the mother's not trying to make this human being, giving all the resources to this kid and leaving nothing for herself. So a lot of times when we can get those resources back up by breaking down our food correctly, now the body has what it needs to operate the way that it wants to operate. Number 15 is gallstones. When bile becomes too thick and sticky to flow correctly, now it'll stay in the gallbladder and continue to concentrate in the gallbladder. And if it stays there too long, it can concentrate into sludge or even stones. So this is a really strong sign that bile is not flowing correctly, and when it's not flowing correctly, we're not really going to digest our food correctly. Sign number 16 is allergies, and 17 is asthma. Now, both of these issues are seen commonly when someone is pushed too far into the parasympathetic side of their autonomic nervous system. So the parasympathetic side is our rest and digest side. So if a person is having digestive malfunctions and the body's not really getting everything it needs out of the food that we're eating, then the body will try to push itself as far as it can into that parasympathetic state just to improve digestion any way that it can. And when the body's pushed too far into that state, it can create some of those symptoms. Sign number 18 is bad breath. Now, if a client has like things dying in his mouth, then that's going to create some bad breath. But a lot of times bad breath comes from food in the stomach that is rotting and fermenting. When somebody doesn't have enough HCl to really break their food down, the food's got to at least try to break down some way, and it does that by rotting and fermenting, which can create a lot of gases and odors and things that come back up, and now the person has really bad breath. Sign number 19 is weight gain. When I was working as a personal trainer, I would see better results than the other trainers because I was helping my clients fix digestive malfunctions. When food can't be broken down correctly and now that becomes a burden for the body, some of this gook and junk can be shoved into a fat cell for safekeeping. But if they don't really fix the problem, then we continue to shove stuff in the fat cells, and now the fat cells expand and now our clients' pants don't fit. So when we can help them digest correctly, not only do we help the body detox better, but now they're also getting the nutrients that they really need, and they're not going to have all these cravings for all this junk that cause them to eat other things that are going to cause them to gain weight more. And sign number 20 is veganism. Now, this isn't really a sign of poor digestion. If somebody's eating a vegan diet because of religious beliefs or they just don't want to kill animals, that's one thing. But a lot of people that can't digest proteins or fats correctly will gravitate towards a vegan diet, and they'll be like, oh man, I feel better when I just eat vegan, so I'm just going to do that. So a lot of times people will gravitate that way, but if they fix digestive malfunctions, then they could eat quality animal protein as well and get a lot of benefits from that. So veganism isn't really a sign of poor digestion. I just put that in there to see if somebody would yell at me, but a lot of people do gravitate towards a vegan diet when they have digestive problems. So you can see there's a lot of signs that can show up for your clients, and you have a lot of things that you can watch out for to see that, oh, maybe I need to help this client fix some digestive malfunctions. So remember, in the description below, I'll put the links to all those topics where you can get more information on any of those things if you want to understand them better. And right now, since poor bile flow is such a common underlying cause for digestive malfunctions, you can jump over right now and check out our video on how to help clients improve bile flow. I can't wait to hear about your results.